Good morning, SLO. Great to be here. Well, for nearly 2 years, of course, everything's been turned upside down because of COVID, and the vaccine mandates are just the latest issue that we're all dealing with. And it's important to note that fulfilling all the obligations for workplace vaccine mandates will require understanding significantly more than I can give you in 5 minutes. So here goes. Specifically, there are a number of vaccine mandates that were issued by the state of California, important to know. Primarily, those apply to healthcare workers, state employees, K through 12 school staff. There are also some federal executive orders, and those mandates are still in effect. It's important to know that. But the vaccine mandate that's gotten the most attention lately is the Emergency Temporary Standard, or ETS, issued by federal OSHA that Jim just mentioned. That ETS would require all employers with 100 or more employees to require their employees who come into the workplace to be fully vaccinated. The only exceptions to this vaccine mandate will be for employees who are medically unable to be vaccinated or are legally entitled to a reasonable accommodation because of a disability or sincerely held religious belief. And as you can imagine, there is a lot of room for debate about when those exceptions legitimately are in play. Now, employees not subject to mandatory vaccinations still must submit proof of weekly negative COVID testing and must wear a face covering at the workplace. Now, in California, it's not settled yet, but it's likely that the employer will need to be covering the cost of that weekly testing. We're still trying to find out about that. Now, the 100 employee threshold includes all of your headcount, even if it's spread over many locations. While employees working from home or exclusively outdoors will not be subject to the vaccine or test requirement, they will count in determining your 100 employee headcount, whether you reach that. Now, compliance requires a written policy that meets all of the requirements of the ETS, written notices to employees, actual verification of vaccination status or the basis for an exception, a variety of documentation and reporting obligations, and yeah, lots more. So this is a big, big topic. Now, enforcement is likely to be complaint-driven, meaning employees will rat you out. So you gotta watch that. And a violation can result in fines of tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this is a very big deal. Now, recently, a federal court issued an injunction stopping the new OSHA ETS from being enforced just before it was to go into effect, so it's not like you just missed a deadline. But the injunction does not apply to stop enforcement of California's mandates and any local mandates. There's a federal executive order applicable to federal contractors and subcontractors. There's rules for healthcare providers subject to a different ETS. All of that's still there, and employers must ensure they are in compliance with all of those requirements that fall out of the one ETS that has been suspended. It's very important to understand that. Also, the injunction does not prevent employers from implementing their own requirements if they want to do that. Now, as of last week, that injunction has been consolidated with other challenges to the ETS for a nationwide review at the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals. And after that, the matter's likely to go to the US Supreme Court, no surprise. However, employers should be prepared to implement the ETS requirements quickly if and when it does come back to life. Among other things, employers should closely track the status of the injunction so you will be aware if the ETS becomes enforceable. And my firm will be issuing updates to anyone on our email list, so please contact me if you want to be on that list. There's no charge for getting those updates from us, so I encourage you to do that. Also, employers should become familiar with the requirements of the ETS and consider what written policies to adopt and how to immediately implement them if the court lifts the injunction. And that's the sort of thing my firm can help with too. Now finally, it's easy to forget there have been significant action in the courts and legislature related to employment issues other than COVID. So on December 15th, I'll be presenting a briefing for the Chamber on all the most significant employment law developments this year, including all the new laws going into effect on January 1, 2022 that you're going to have to comply with. Attendees will receive a comprehensive handout with literally 100 new laws and case developments that affect California employers. So please go to the Chamber's website to sign up for this. It's a hybrid event just like this, but in-person slots are going to fill up fast, so please get on that if you want to be there in person. And thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on the December 15th update so that you can stay on top of everything. Thanks.